As I said before, Hungary is mainly a white wine producing country, and the flagship white grape is Furmint. This grape is very, very important because it is one of the main components of Tokaj wines, and it has gained increasing favor not only in Hungary but throughout the world as a dry wine, making a dry single varietal wine. As you know, Tokaj, its fame is the Asu, which is a sweet wine, and Furmint is perfect for this. However, as a dry white wine, it's absolutely fantastic as well. I'll give you more about that later. Next, we have Olash Riesling, or Welsh Riesling, or Italian Riesling. This is widely planted throughout the country as well. Both, like Furmint, it has roughly 4,000 hectares, give or take. And it is having a very interesting renaissance because in the whole region, actually, of Central and Eastern Europe, it's known as a very simple, highly acidic, easy drinking wine. It's Olash Riesling in Hungary, where you have Welsh Riesling in Austria, you have Vienna in Croatia. And the thing is many producers in Hungary, like for example around Lake Balaton, they decided to explore this grape further, and they're making fantastic examples of it now, and are showing sides of this grape that have never been seen before, simply because the work and the effort and the real knowledge and expertise has never been put into it before. So keep an eye on Olash Riesling from Hungary. So now we've mentioned Furmint and Olash Riesling. Another very important grape is called Hárslevelű, and this is an important component of Tokaj as well. It is one of the main grapes of Tokaj, and a very fascinating grape, which I'll tell you more about later. And it's a key ingredient, as I mentioned, in Tokaj Asu, the sweet wine, but it also Hárslevelű is also being made into a single varietal dry wine, which is great. The potential is really there. It's not fully concluded, but I think the experiments are still going on. But so far, the single varietal Hárslevelűs are showing wonderful, wonderful quality wines, and I'll tell you more about that later. Another grape to look out for, in my opinion, although there's only about 150 hectares of it, is Jufark. And this grows in the region of Somló, which is an extinct volcano, a tiny, tiny little area, about 830 hectares. And there are many small plots of vineyards there, parcels. And the Jufark, a rarity, is treasured there. And personally, I love it. It's one of the first grapes that I discovered back in the early 1990s in Hungary. And by the way, Jufark means sheep's tail because of the shape of the clusters, the shape of the bunches. And I just love its freshness, its flavor. It can have a bit of a good body, and it gets ripe rather quickly, in my opinion. And it does extremely well, and it has some good mineral flavors, of course, because of the volcanic, this basalt kind of soil that is in Somló. Two other grapes I'm going to mention that might not necessarily now be known anywhere else besides Hungary, but they have a lot of fun potential. And they're tongue twisters, particularly the Cserzegi Fűszeres, which there's quite a lot of it. There's over 4,000 hectares of it planted, but it is a highly acidic grape that tends to, it was never taken seriously, let's put it that way. And when I first tasted it, more than 20 years ago, the acidity was searing, but I couldn't resist it. I loved it. I love wines that have good acidity. The Cserzegi Fűszeres has good acidity, has a lot of acidity. But even though it's never really been taken seriously, now today, winemakers are looking at it the way they're looking at other grape varieties and exploring it, like Olash Riesling. But hey, what do we have here? What can we do more? Maybe we're not showing its real potential. So in the vineyards, they're working on it, and some very interesting samples are coming. So keep an eye out for Csézege Fűzőres, even though it's not a name to pronounce so easily, but that's also part of the fun. Another grape is called Irshai Oliver, and it has a nice expression, a muscety type of aroma and flavor, and it's not a complicated grape, but it has a nice body. And there's about 1,500 hectares of it in Hungary, and it's a very nice crossing that I think has a good Hungarian expression to it, if you will. Okay. Now, those are the white grapes. The red grapes, we have the international grapes, of course. We have the Cabernet Sauvignon, we have the Merlot, we have the Cabernet Franc, which is very important. But we also have Kek Frankos, which is also known next door in Austria as Blaufränkisch. Now, Austria has done a great job with marketing the Blaufränkisch variety. In Hungary, it's called Kek Frankos, okay? And it makes very, very nice wines. If you taste Austrian Blaufränkisch and Hungarian Kek Frankos, it's very interesting. I have been doing this for years, and I can always distinguish a Hungarian Kek Frankos from an Austrian Blaufränkisch. And I haven't quite put my finger on it. Of course, you have different terroirs, but even in the areas of, say, Sopron in Hungary, where you have Kek Frankos, right over the border is the Burgenland of Austria. And again, they taste so different, and but they have similar characteristics. So I will tell you more about that in a bit. But there are similar characteristics like the good acidity and the more vertical structure to the wine. Okay, it's not a big full-bodied full-blown heavy wine. It's more vertical, not quite Pinot Noirish, but going in that direction. Another grape that is going into the Pinot Noir type of direction, but a little fuller, is Kadarka, also known as Gamsa in Bulgaria. Kadarka is a very, very temperamental grape. It makes beautiful versions in the wine region of Szekszárd, and I find it very, very seductive, very enticing. It has some nice herbal quality, spice quality, along with its good, juicy red fruit. But you have to really work at the grape in the vineyard to get a nice bottle of wine, because it's very susceptible. It's thin skin, susceptible to many of the fungi and all the problems that can occur with the weather and dampness. But Szekszárd makes some nice versions. You'll find it in other regions too, of course, and throughout Central Europe, by the way, not just Hungary, but it grows very, very nicely in Hungary. And I'll tell you a little more about it later as we talk about Szekszárd. But keep in mind, in the country, there are only about 370, maybe 400 hectares of it.